Okay, so in this video, let's talk about error handling, because when you start working with browsers, especially when you go through different pages in a browser, you find a bunch of links and you try to navigate to those links or something like that, it's very possible that you could then try to open one of those links and it might not open. And there are a lot of reasons why it could happen. It could be that the link is broken at this point, or it could be that their website is down at that point of time and it's not opening it. So let's see what happens when we do something like this. So let's just comment all of this out. So let's do an example. So instead of going to this page, now let's just do some random stuff like this for a page that does not exist. So let's see what's going to happen if I try to run this code. So I'm going to run this file test.js. And as you can see, that failed. Well, it kind of did it. It opened the browser, but it failed. And now if we look in the background, see we get this error. It says unhandled, promise rejection, etc. So if you had a long list of links and some of them don't work, then at the point your program gets to this link, it just stops the whole thing and the rest doesn't work either. So you might want some way to just handle this nicely. So for example, if I get back to one of the things I did before, we had this, well, this one we saved to links. Let's see if we can find the other one. This one. We had this where we go get all the links, then we navigate through all those links and get the page data info, which was this different functions, this get page data. So this is the function we're going to use to go to that URL and then do all of these things. And again, what could happen is that if that URL doesn't exist, it fails. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here, and instead of just having this like this, I'm going to apply some sort of try catch. What I'll do, I'll put the part of the code that could potentially get an error in a try catch block. And the way we do that, try catch in JavaScript is like this. And this is where we get some potential errors. So the way this works, this block, is that you put some code in here that you want to work, and hopefully that's what's going to happen, right? So our plan is to make this work and go to this page. Now, if it doesn't, however, then this is where we do the catch to catch those errors. So instead of getting this weird error that we have right now, you might want to have some better handling on that. And you could access what error it is in this error object. But for right now, let's just do a console log of some sort. Like that. So now let me run this same thing again. And let's take a look at our app. See, our app, it's still running. It didn't stop the execution at this point. It just basically logs this error saying that it didn't load, but it's still up and running, and I can go ahead and quit the browser as I usually do, and it just works fine. So now we have some sort of error handling. So we can say, let's try to do this. If that doesn't work, then this is what we're going to do to handle that. And this is what you should do pretty much with all your network requests. And as a general rule, any async function you do, it's going to be inside of a try-catch block. So usually you would have this entire thing starting from here, probably in a try-catch block, to make sure that when there's an error, let's do something. Now that something could be doing pretty much nothing and just moving on, or that something could be handling the error in a different way. So we could say, let's try to open this one. And for example, if it doesn't work, we may want to try to navigate to another one, which should also be in its own probably try-catch block. So let's just copy this and put this below. So we'll do this and we'll see what happens. Well, that's going to give us an error. Let's just do another page below, again with a try-catch block. Only this time we're going to use page 2 as our variable. We're going to create another page in here. And this time I'm going to actually put a link that works. So now we're going to run this. See, the first one failed. it kept going, then it went to this next one, and this one works. Now, if I didn't do that try catch, the second one wouldn't have opened either. So if I remove the try catch from here, I'll keep the second try catch. It's going to try to do this and it's going to fail. And then that's it. See, it stops because our application has an error and it's not doing anything else at that point. Yeah, so that's basically try catch. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is that when you do this network request, now this one at least failed, right? We tried it, it failed. Now you may want to have some sort of time limit, how long it should try to open that page until it gives up. So let's see their docs for a second. See, this is that go-to method and URL, and then we have options, and that has a timeout. See, the maximum navigation time in milliseconds. By default, apparently it already has a limit of 30 seconds. You can pass 0 to disable the timeout, but you can wait longer or shorter and say, okay, so if you tried it for like 7 seconds and the page didn't load, then let's just get out of this. So it's also saying that goto will throw an error if there is an SSL error, the URL is invalid, which is what we just got, and timeout exceeds the duration. So also if it times out, it's still going to go in that error and we can catch it using the try catch. So let's just add that to our thing. So it seems like all we have to do is just simply go back here, and in this goto, we're going to do a comma and add an object. And in this one, we're going to do a timeout and then specify the number of milliseconds. So let's say we want to wait for 5 seconds. If it still didn't load, we're going to move on, which is going to go to this catch block. So again, I'm going to save this, rerun this. We're not going to get to that 5 seconds anyways because it's going to fail before that, as you can see, and it's going to move on. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.